What's good, people? It's your boy, Icarus Gray, and you are back for more gray area anime. And today, what do we have for you? Well, it's Saturday, and you're probably looking for a ReZero breakdown, but currently there's no more ReZero. So it's time we start pulling some new tricks out the hat. Some I don't know. I'm kind of waffling here. I don't really know how to.
So we're starting a new segment today.
That's a way to do that. So we're starting a new segment. We're going to keep the episode breakdowns going, but we're going to switch it up a little bit because you're all quarantined. And
what?
We want what?
They didn't come here for that.
I'm trying to give them
Get to the
keys. Here are the keys to escaping. What? What?
It's your show, boss.
All right. Don't call me boss. It's so weird.
Senpai.
Oh, God. Why are you making it worse?
I'm trying to get us out of this hole you're digging right
What?
now. You're digging and it's deep, cavernous.
So you know what we should do? Why
What
don't
should we do?
Why don't we just rewind this conversation?
Oh, God. Which leads us to the fact that this new segment or this new this new show that we're doing,
It's called anime.
new branch of shows.
What?
I'm trying to figure out the
Now-
right
oh,
word.
hold on,
Now you
wait.
got me all
Let
messed
me
up.
do
I
this
was
again.
fine.
Anyway, going back to the fact, how about we just rewind this conversation? A new segment called Anime Rewind. Oh, you scoffed me. Anyway, we've done enough waffling on. Let's dive right into things. Nintendo Life.
So on Anime Rewind, what we'll be doing is
right.
reviewing great anime that either Icarus or myself have watched, either collectively or individually. And
Mostly collectively.
Okay.
I want to do it with together.
Together.
Bonding.
Oh God. And
Bonding.
and we'll be inviting you guys to do the same. So bonding together with you guys who are listening right now. Okay. And, you know, despite keeping a safe 6 feet apart, we can bond from that, you know, that
Bond with me.
social distance.
Okay.
All right.
So, the first rewind that we're going to do is Samurai Champloo. See what I did there?
Yeah, I saw what you did there. It was, God.
Yeah, we're going to work on that sound.
No, it's not the sound. That's
We're
not
gonna
why I
work
said
We're
that.
going to work on the sound.
All right.
But yeah, so we went back, like she said, we're going to do big old school things that we watch, like animes that we may have only watched like one time and be like, this is the most amazing thing in the world, or things we grew up on that we didn't quite know was anime or whatever. I wanted to start with Samurai Champloo first and foremost because it's a short run, so you'd be able to watch the entire series and, you know, basically not be in a show hole. Well, technically you are going to be in a show hole after, but you can come back here for more
we'll
suggestions.
have some more. Yeah, we'll have more shows for you. Trust me. We won't leave you lonely.
But yeah, so we're thinking of doing things like we're doing Samurai Champloo for this one, but we're going to do Cowboy Bebop, Outlaw Star, Trigun, Blood Plus, and just a host of the animes that would have come out.
Gurren Lagann, Kill la Kill.
Kill la Kill, no.
Yes,
not that
those
old.
are mine.
It can't be yours.
They're
It's
old
the
for me.
rewind. No, it's not old.
They're old for me.
No.
It's a rewind.
Well, that's fine. On
I'm
your offshoot
rewinding
show,
it.
it's fine.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Come back next week. Maybe we'll have
Like,
more
it won't be a
information
part
about
of
our offshoot show.
God,
Or
it won't-
offshoot so
Stop it.
show. I can't speak.
Back away.
Backing away.
Okay, thank you. It won't be it won't be rewinds of newer stuff like that. Those will be more episode breakdowns to maybe we'll tie it into the Gurren Lagann episode because random. The people who did Gurren Lagann also did Kill la Kill. So again, we're doing Samurai Champloo. We're bringing back Mugen Jean, which I still just want to call him Jin, but it's Jean, I guess is what we say. And Fu.
Why do you have to say his name like that? Do you not like Jean?
I don't like the way they say it. It's Jin.
Okay.
And they go Jean.
His name is Jean.
I'm like, no, it's Jin.
Okay. Like the drink. Not like the pant.
Oh, or like, Tekken.
Okay.
Best character ever, Tekken 3.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, so we're going to dive into it. That's enough of us being silly and introducing you to our rewind segment. But yeah, so we're going to, we blah, 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 blah. So for the next Saturdays, I don't know. We'll play it by ear.
Yeah, you may be getting this for the next few Saturdays until ReZero starts back up, but this will be a segment that will be continuing throughout the course of this show.
Yeah, amongst
series.
others.
So get ready. And if you guys have any suggestions while we're talking about it or anything that you watched growing up or recently that you came across that's a little bit older, like maybe JoJo's Bizarre Adventure or anything like that, please go ahead and send them to us. We'd love to watch them, love to interact with you.
Yes. And we will eventually do the longer series, the Sailor Moons, the Dragon Ball Z's, all that stuff. It's just we want to set up to where we can kind of digest and finish and also have room for the newer things that we're watching in terms of our episode breakdown. So anyway, let's start. What was your initial thought process about Samurai Champloo when you watched it?
The first time I was introduced to Samurai Champloo was I want to say maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. It might have been a little bit longer. It might have been closer to 7 years ago. And I was introduced to it under the auspice that it was super hip hop. Like that was one. And of course, this was another black person introducing it to me who was like, if you're going to start anime, watch this. And I watched the first episode and was like, okay, I really love the style. And looking at a little bit of the information, like I didn't realize that Champloo, and I know apparently a lot of people looked up the meaning for that, but it means mixture, usually referred to in stir fry. And that's exactly what I thought, even before I looked up the meaning, was seeing Jean, seeing, what's my other guy's name? Mugen. Seeing their different fighting styles and that the beauty of like the way they combine those things. And then like watching Mugen fight, that's straight B-boy. Like that's he looks like he's breakdancing when he fights. And it's absolutely amazing.
Right. What I would consider Samurai Champloo to be for most people, if you haven't watched it, it's what the Boondocks would be if it was all serious.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's not all serious because there are jokes, but the Boondocks has more of a poignant expression that they're trying to make, versus Samurai Champloo, where there's a storyline that they're following and building upon, as they basically take hip hop and combine it with feudal era Japan.
Yes.
Basically the end of the samurai era, and into this kind of throwback modern time. Like they just kind of start weaving all of these different lines, and they don't take themselves that seriously. They do take themselves seriously, but like in the way that they know that the things that are their Mugen's fighting style, so to speak, and the other ways that people talk to each other seem a little bit more modern. And
for the record, this is a mature anime, just in case we have anyone who has kids and is listening and thinking about watching this. This is not for I wouldn't suggest watching this with your young children, maybe your teenagers, or your older teens, not your preteens or your tweens or whatever they're calling them these days.
And it just depends. I know a lot of y'all get all kinds of
rules and regulations. It's just a friendly warning. You watch it yourself and determine whether or not that's something you want to watch for your kid. But I do think in terms of the mixture, I think that's a really interesting thing from a historical standpoint as a quote unquote Westerner looking at it, and seeing other art forms from Japanese culture, like, you know, movies and stuff like that, that do discuss the dichotomy or the duality of having like traditional Japanese values or historical context be, I guess, influenced by or affected by Western influences. Like, you know, like that.
Right. And
I think
this merger feels more genuine than a lot of
oh
them
yeah,
do, though.
yes.
And the big takeaway from rewatching like this first episode is it's basically if feudal era Japan met hip hop and then decided to have a threesome with a Western.
All right, I'm with it.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like,
and now I want to point out that I have this rewatch is really a first watch for me because I only got so far into the series, so I never really got a chance to finish it. So I'm looking forward. I'm really excited to see how that Western aspect, that Western appeal comes into it, because I totally get those vibes.
Well, it's more so in like I think the shot style. So I guess we need to be breaking down the episode, I guess, because this is the episode breakdown, not like the series breakdown.
But I think in terms of introducing the series to people, if they're not familiar with it, I think that you know, having that context can be effective.
I mean, like it even starts like it feels like a Wu-Tang video.
Yes.
The way it starts.
That's exactly how it was described.
Or at least how the merger is. The merger would seem like the RZA just directed the beat style. And it's also Samurai Champloo is also in the era of Cowboy Bebop. They came out around the same time in terms of what was being shown on Toonami, or Adult Swim at the time. It was still Toonami by then.
Yeah.
It is also random. One of the few animes that I will watch dubbed.
And I think that's important to mention because, you know, we've spoken vehemently about
how I don't. Like, I just will not. But there are certain Toonami classics that I will do because they were done very, very well. Samurai Champloo was one of those that was done well, where it's just amazing. So you start the episode with a bit of a rewind, or a foretelling. So they start at a certain place because it's also like a there's so many mixtures in this. Yeah. Because it's also like a oh my God, what is the guy's name? Hateful Eight. What I can't think.
Tarantino?
Yeah. It's also like a Tarantino film. In terms of the way that it's like
Kill Bill. They start in the middle of the action.
Start in the middle of the action or somewhere, and then you have to go back and kind of figure out how they got there.
Which is pretty, in my research of anime for future necessities, that's something I've been noticing. And now I do have a question, because that kind of has to do with what I noticed. This would not be qualified as a Shonen Jump or Shonen kind of anime, correct?
No.
Because I mean, it doesn't really have the typical shonen. It doesn't start the way that Bleach does. It doesn't start the way that Naruto does.
Well, it's probably, and I need to figure out if it's a standalone, because I don't know if, because I've never done the research on it. I just watched it.
Well, the only reason I ask is because that's something that I noticed that anime does really well. And I mean, good shows in general do. They start you in the middle of the action. Like the character is usually already doing something in those, especially in those types of anime. So,
well, in this regard, it just depends on what the source material was. If there was source material, or if this was something that was just created. I feel like my instinct is that it was just created, given that the hip hop style dancing and everything that it's about could only be done through animation in my mind. I don't think a light novel or a manga would do it justice. And this is one of the few times where that is the case. Is there anything that you see that's different from that? Does it say it has a manga or because I'm not sure, because that would be interesting to note, to kind of figure out, because that formulates the algorithm, so to speak. So, I've said before, when you're about to start an anime, it is always best to check whether or not it has an anime, or excuse me, a manga. Does it have a light novel? Is it a standalone? So you can build on these things. That something is shonen driven by its storylines most times.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it does. It does have a manga associated with it.
And if you look at it, was it pre the anime or after the?
That's what I'm looking for now. What's interesting is that
because that happens as well when something gets popular. Like
Ruby did it.
Ruby's done. Well,
but I think Rooster Teeth and American anime are a little different, anyways. But Ruby did it. There are a couple other ones.
But is it wrong to pick up Girls in the Dungeon?
Started the light novel after.
Started the manga after, because it was a light novel before. ReZero has a manga that was after the light novel, and there are a couple others.
And it did debut in Shonen Ace. The manga did on August 2004.
Short run, long run.
It looks like it was a 2-volume. Well, no, there were 2 volumes in that particular series. I'm not seeing anything.
So
it says there was a short-lived film manga project released in the United States, published by Man Globe in 2004. But what's interesting about that is the anime. It looks like it was like going in 2005. So these either had a dual release, or I think it was probably intended to be an anime to begin with, and then the manga probably accompanied it. Like maybe it came out a little bit before.
That's what I was saying. So it's probably one of those, because it's the anime in and of itself is only 13 episodes. But anyway, it's really amazing. Like I can't explain. There are certain times you see fusion and it just doesn't work. It comes off wrong. It comes off horrible. Like, you could literally believe that this is a hip hop error. I keep saying error. I can't say era all of a sudden. A hip hop themed anime.
Yeah.
That somehow exists perfectly in this era of Japan, or in this time of Japan. And what's beautiful about it is it starts with Mugen and Jin about to be assassinated. You then rewind.
It does that teaser thing that primetime shows do.
Yeah. You start with what would seem the most climatic. I still feel like I'm saying that wrong.
What are you trying to? Climactic was right.
Climactic, yeah. It just didn't sound right. Moment of the show, and then they kind of pull it back to show you how they got there. So they're about to be executed. The guy's talking to him. Oh, the other thing that I think they did beautifully is there's a mix of Italian mob
vibes, yeah,
vibes with all of these lords and governors and stuff like that. So,
which it probably was like that, like in all olden old
there's
world.
A mafia everywhere. There's
that's where the mafia got their ideas from.
Probably like old yakuza, stuff like that. So, they rewind to Fu, because she is technically, to me, the main character of the series.
Well, she's definitely the driving force. She's the motivation for all of the characters, I think.
Because I think she is she's the light that brings us through to the plot. Because without her, it would just be a bloodbath and just a long fight, which could be a movie in and of itself. So enter Fu, who is she's like Nami light. Without like being,
yes, she is kind of like,
not being a thief, anything like that, but just her general personality of speaking up for people and wanting to do things. And she just has a very nice disposition. She's definitely Nami's
predecessor.
Basically. I
mean, there may have been other, I'm not saying that was Oda's actual inspiration, but I'm saying that in terms of the timeline, and because when did One Piece would have been
around the same time.
Yeah.
Like, because it would have been like One Piece, Naruto, all and Bleach were all 2005, 2006. Bleach probably later, late 2007. But anyway, so you enter Fu. She's working at a dumpling shop, and currently in the dumpling shop are just dumplings. The most hoodlums of all hoodlums.
The worst.
The worst. And not only are they just hoodlums, it's the governor's son.
So they spoiled. See, this is the thing about being, a brat. Like, you can't choose one. Be spoiled. You know what I mean? And that's fine and everything. Keep your stuff within your house, but don't be a violent, spoiled, crazy person.
That's the same.
You deserve, I guess it's the same.
What I mean more so about like you have the spoiled, sheltered guy, but this is the hey, you won't have a job tomorrow, kid.
Yeah, I'll get my daddy to fire you.
Like where do you work? That's the kind of thing.
Never mind. Let me calm down.
So, they're kind of terrorizing the restaurant in general, and she's just like, I don't really like any of this, and she wants to say something but can't. Meanwhile, on another side of town, Jean is you don't see him directly, but you see the governor antagonizing a villager by he's canceling a contract. Building contract that he had, and he's like, this is how I pay, this is how I feed my family, please take this money.
Which doesn't make sense. I'm giving you all the only money that I have so that you don't steal my way of feeding, my way of making income. That makes no sense.
But it's just all controlling. I control. I'm doing whatever. So he gives him some money and he throws money down like, dog, you give me spare change? Like what this gonna do? You know what? Die. I'm gonna kill you. So it cuts from there back to the restaurant. In the restaurant, Mugen enters, takes a seat, asks for some water, which is a very samurai thing, in the sense of
also a very cowboy thing.
Yeah,
very much a Western thing. They go straight into the saloon or wherever everybody at.
Yep.
Sit down, and they'll ask for a whiskey or something like that. But the crazy ones ask for water,
or even the ones that are more, the wilderness ones. Like, I got everything else I need. I got food. I don't need the ones that are more pure. Like, it's kind of like the Book of Eli, or something like that. In the sense that you have these characters who you can tell he's more centered and controlled than he gives off. And that's what the water spoke to me.
I'm trying to think of I can't remember which character it was, but I don't know if it's anime. I'm pretty certain it's probably just a live action film where the dude only drank cranberry juice. When he went to places, he would only order cranberry juice. I'm going to have to figure it out.
I can't remember. But
I literally everybody else would be drinking liquor. And he's like, no, just give me cranberry juice.
So he comes in. He's like, can I have some water? And then he pulls her to the side when she's like, look, fam, if you broke, you got to be a paying customer. I can't just be out here giving you water. If you need somewhere to hang out, and then he pulls it, he's like, hey, if you give me 50 dumplings, I'll take those guys out for you.
I'd do it for 50 dumplings.
And she's, well, you do it for 2 dumplings.
I sure would. I like dumplings.
Okay. Back away.
Backing away.
All right. It's still the best thing about this part. Backing away. I'm like, but you're still here. Anyway, so she walks off like, man, whatever. Like 50 dumplings. She's like, I'll give you 20. He's like, I'm not going down any lower. She walks off. She trips, spills some tea on the governor's son.
And honestly, to that she trips, I think someone tripped her is what happened. I don't think she tripped because it looked like somebody stuck their foot out. That's just me though. Speculation.
So when that happens, of course, she's like, I'm sorry. I think she's going to walk away. And then he has his ruffians grab her and do all of the things of threatening rape and cutting off fingers and just going to the absolute extreme immediately. And it's like, well, we're just going to cut off some fingers. And then she just yells out 100 dumplings. To which one was like, oh, fam, y'all only worth 5 dumplings. 5 dumplings a piece.
Which the math wasn't right.
And the lady was like, that is what
And she was counting in there. She was using her fingers like, wait a minute.
The owner and her husband
Yeah.
were counting. She's like, that's terrible math. It's not right. And so they're like, man, what the hell is you talking about? Like, hey man, I don't know if you know this, but I'm the governor's son, and who is you trying to talk to, bro?
And
Who?
he just he Afro samurai the
And then
fool
he
out of
said,
them.
well, before then he goes, like, listen, hey bro, I don't think you should. Well, he didn't tell him he shouldn't point the sword at him, but his main guy, that was
He's
in there
like,
with
I'll
him,
try my sword out on you.
and he's like, I think you should leave. And I'm like, look, fam, we can do this. Easy way or the hard way. He chose the hard way. So he swings his sword at Mugen. Mugen dodges and then cuts his arm off.
Just straight loses his arm. And that's the thing.
Arm off.
Who said it? Put your life on the line. That's redhead Shanks. Put your life on the line. I know that's another anime, but still, that's not for threatening.
That's not a
That
toy.
knife ain't for, that sword ain't for threatening.
Not for a game. Yeah, if you pull it, you use it.
Yeah, exactly.
So his arm's off, and now then Mugen ignores him completely and is like, "Hey, y'all, let's not do this whole one-on-one thing. Y'all can just all come at me at the same time."
I'd like to get it over with kind of quickly.
And so on the other side of town, Jean, and I'm always gonna say it weird because I don't like it.
You just feel some kind of way. It's
I
okay.
do.
honey.
I feel like if I watch,
We'll compare and contrast later.
The subbed, it'll be Jen. But anyway, so he at the same time as the guy is about to be cut down by the samurai bodyguards of the governor, he starts out like, yo,
Y'all blocking the road.
well see, Mugen is unorthodox, pure instinctual style.
Yes.
While Jean is pure samurai. He is the last of a dying breed. He is fundamentally sound, honorable. He's a knight in that kind of sense.
Jean is the east, Mugen is the west.
Basically. Far east and,
Far
west. Modern west.
Modern west, okay.
So, New York, California mix, which is
strange.
but
Okay.
that's
all right.
what
That's
Mugen is.
what you want to go with. All right, that's fine.
So, anyway, he then cuts them down, all while Mugen is cutting his people down.
Mm-hmm.
And before he cuts everybody down, the governor's like, hey, the governor's son is like, come on, man. Like, listen.
You don't understand what's happening.
You don't
here.
understand you don't know what's going on. If you mess with me.
You know who I am?
Do you know who I am? By the time you finish this, my father's bodyguards will be here kicking your ass.
No, they're gonna kill you, man. They're gonna
They're gonna kill you. They're gonna waste you, bro.
And while he's doing it, he chops that man's hair off.
Chops his top knot off, and he's like, "Oh, okay, you wasn't here to play. How much money would you like? Can I give you some money? Is there something you can do?"
And then some crazy man.
Hold on.
Okay.
Back away.
All right.
Backing away. Before, so to that point, Mugen then walks up on him.
Oh yeah, we got a lot.
All right, no, it's fine. Sorry. It's fine. You always kill me for this, and it's funny to be able to do this.
You are the one, Neo.
So he walks up to him, and he's like, "Hey, those bodyguards he was just talking about. I'm gonna count to 10. If you guys could go get them, I'd appreciate that very much. And to count, I'm going to break his fingers, for however long. 1, 2, 3.
And they go running out. Two of them go running out.
To which then the timelines somewhat converge. Jean pops up on the scene.
Because he didn't kill every last one of them. What? You went back and you didn't say what happened? Backing away.
I don't understand. I try so hard. Jean walks in and, he's like, "Hey, man, are you one of those samurai guys?" If you're talking about those bodyguard people, I killed them.
I killed them all.
Like,
even better.
Why do you steal all the good punchlines?
I'm excited.
So back away and let me have it.
Okay.
Or have it in your mind. Like, this is
okay. I'll
like
do it.
the talent would like to do the fun parts, not the producer doing the best parts.
I just got super excited.
Oh no, I understand.
You're the
just
talent.
back away when you get excited. When you feel it riding up, back away.
Okay, I will.
Or point to me or something. Give me a sign that you're gonna just, unhinge.
It didn't work. Okay, bye.
Oh my gosh. Whenever this is visual, to see the point and the backing away will be the most amazing thing in the world. So now we're in a full on, all right, mine's is bigger than yours, let's fight. The pissing contest has begun. That's really what it is. It's just like, oh, you strong, I'm strong.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right.
And they are traditional in the sense of the samurais, like this is the Western part. So it's essentially a quick draw. It's essentially a showdown. It's essentially things at sunset. No matter what happens, unless I choose to miss, unless you miss when I hit you, somebody dying. One of us dying or both of us dying. So they start fighting. In the middle of their fighting, the guy who Mugen cut off his arm appears, and he's like,
"Oh, is that who that was?"
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that was some crazy dude. I was like, "Where did this crazy dude come from?"
You know,
I didn't see that he didn't have an arm.
Attention is essential.
I was paying attention. I saw him pour the water. I just couldn't.
Well, you saw him pour the gasoline. That was not water.
It said water. The subtitle said water,
which would not catch on fire.
Exactly. I was really confused by that.
It was oil.
Okay.
All right. So he lights it on fire. The restaurant is coming down, and ain't nobody got time for that, except for Mugen and Jean, who decided it's time to fight.
Yes.
And they're like, they both ask each other jokingly, "Hey, fam, you can run away if you want to." Well, I was gonna ask the same of you. Well, I guess we're not running away. So they keep fighting, and somewhere in between all that, they pass out. Obviously,
probably from smoke inhalation.
Yeah, most definitely. They're picked up by the governor, and they're going to be executed. So, technically they're tortured throughout the night. Mm-hmm. And while they're being tortured, Fu, who's been somewhat absent at this point, comes up with an idea. You can see that the restaurant has been burned down. The owner and her husband offer like, "Hey, you don't have any family. If you'd like to go with us, you can." And she's like, "No, I've actually made up my mind about something. I'm gonna, or I made up my mind about something." She then goes off to start. She goes to see them while they're in captivity, or prisoners, I guess. Not in captivity. I've been watching too much Tiger King. Everyone's into captivity. That damn Carol Baskins. This is all Carol Baskin's fault.
Yeah, I guess, man. I guess.
Anyway, yeah, I'm just saying.
God dang shame.
Maybe it wasn't Mugen.
What?
Maybe it wasn't Mugen.
Moving on.
Maybe it wasn't Jin.
Who was it?
Damn Carol Baskins. So she comes to him and like, "Hey, I want to propose a deal for you guys.
Yes.
I'll get you out of here. I just want to find the samurai who smells like sunflowers." Like, "Man, I don't care about none of that. I ain't looking for nothing." That's Mugen. Jin's like, I have no reason to look for that. No reason. Dignified.
Okay. All right. And
knightly.
Stop it. And so
honorable.
Oh gosh.
These are all words he's using.
Those are not words he's using?
These are all the words.
They're not in there.
It was when you're reading the subtitles, they're there.
They're not there.
So she basically is trying to get them out of there, fails miserably.
She tries.
She has a key, and the key breaks, which makes no sense.
No.
Which I wonder how they got them out later. Anyway, because the key would have been broken.
They would have broke the lock.
Yeah. So she runs off, and her whole plan fails. So then she goes together, starts getting some things together, which you don't really notice. You see this strange change in her boob size that is so
I was like, I don't remember her having boobs that big.
I was like, I don't know what's going on.
It was like a nice random moment of fan servicing.
Another random moment of fan service as we go back. And this episode is going to be a little bit longer just because I like this. Like, these are the classics. I don't like talking about them. The governor's son, like at the beginning of the episode, is just groping the crap out of some girl's boob.
Yes. No, and I don't even know if that was his son. Was it his son that was saying I'm bored? I guess it was him.
That was the governor's kid.
Yeah, I didn't notice the blonde hair. I thought it was another. I thought it was somebody with black hair. But yeah, he's just like groping a chick and
it's
another
just
one
like,
trying to like force himself on another girl, and
I remember watching it then and kind of being like, oh, all right, I see what time it is. You know,
when is then?
That would have been teenager. Like, I'm a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so everything in anime, like at that point,
Yeah,
uncut to me meant back
18,
then was like maybe you're gonna see a boob or a nipple somewhere.
Yeah.
Like blood, essentially. Like when they would do uncut episodes of Dragon Ball Z, that just meant blood during the fights and like very light moments of blood. Like nothing compared to like Rurouni Kenshin or something like that, or even this. So anyway, so she gets all these things together. And then we're finally to where the episode started, which is, look, fam, I'd rather die with my head held up than
on my knees to a jerk like you,
and then tell you I'm sorry for some shit I'm not sorry for.
Yeah,
and
because his son died in that fire. I don't know if we mentioned that, but his son
died
was killed
by his own man.
Exactly, which is what I was gonna say earlier. That's so ridiculous that they're gonna get killed for something they didn't even do.
You know. Damn,
I mean, they still were gonna get killed, anyway, but still, like, I'm just saying.
I'm gonna blame you.
And he didn't seem that broken up about his son being dead.
He was not. I mean,
those kind of guys never are, I guess.
No, because he was just a pissant to them in the way, in the way that transcribes. I guess
just such a broken home situation there. Sadness. We'll have to have
his
a
mom
prayer
was,
for that later.
Was definitely a geisha. Anyway,
if that.
Yeah, definitely a geisha. So
or forced. I mean,
same way, but still. So we fast forward to they're about to be executed, and what you realize is that Fu had gotten some fireworks and well, just some fireworks. That's all she had gotten was some fireworks to she climbed up on the roof, threw her fireworks down, and I'm going too fast. Basically, she messes up.
How?
Well, because what she wanted to do was she wanted to get the fireworks down to distract them in general, and she was going to figure out a way to get them out because she hadn't got there in time. But what happened is Mugen and Jin were going to get out regardless.
Yeah.
They already had like a plan in their head. So as soon as they were about to get chopped, like Mugen kicks the guy out of the way, Jin slides over. They are now like fighting in tandem.
Yeah.
Jin gets cut out by the guy that was slashing down to cut off Mugen's neck, and then I think Mugen just like breaks himself out or something like that.
No. Mugen gets like when the dude comes to chop his neck, he moves and gets the slash and gets his stuff open, and then he passes the sword over, and that's
Jin
how
passes
Jin.
The sword
no, that's at the end. He throws the sword, and Jin uses it to loosen himself, and then they start fighting. And he passes him
their swords because it's their swords from the beginning. Because I think they were going to cut them down with their own swords.
Oh wow!
Because they never went, and there was never a moment where they went and got their swords again.
That's true.
So now they're cutting down everybody. Jin cuts the throat of the governor. And
he straight slices that.
They are literally in a place to where they probably could have taken out all those guys,
but they kept coming, and so Fu actually came in handy.
So when Fu comes in, she throws down the fireworks to give a distraction so that way they can get out of there. They get out of there. And she's like, hey, y'all made a promise to me, which technically they never did.
They kind of did.
They didn't.
Okay.
Like they really, and you'll see it later. Like they really didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, they end up, there's something about the way the story will progress that'll show you more of how they didn't actually make a promise. So now they're like, all right, but we're gonna fight each other first. And she's like, no, you can't. Like, if you two kill each other, then I can't do what I need to do. So how about this? We'll flip a coin. If it's heads, y'all can kill each other. If it's if it's tails, y'all can kill each other. If it's heads, you got to come with me.
You said it right the first time.
Okay, well,
if it's heads,
that way
they kill each other. If it's tails,
and so
they get to go.
Mugen throws the coin up. Not knowing restraint, like he does not know restraint.
That's what Jin said. Yeah.
And it's like, is it gonna ever come down? And it slams smack dab in the middle of Fu's giant Rihanna forehead.
Shots fired. What?
Listen, this is what
moving on.
No, hold on.
We won't do Queen Rhea.
We're doing the rewinds. I love Rihanna, but the thing is, if you go watch our first video, like,
I know what her forehead looked like.
man,
I'm not shocked by
it's
this,
the
but I'm just
most
saying we don't talk about that.
hilarious thing in the
Those
world.
are things we do not discuss.
Dog, bangs were the best thing.
All right,
ever.
now moving on. So, and I think that's interesting that it lands on her forehead because it's unfortunate that that's her character. Like, I feel like Fu's definitely moving forward going to be the comedic relief because she's just.
Well, she's the moral compass. She's the moral compass. She's the comedic relief. She is, like I said, the driving force of the plot. Because without her, it's just a.
They just gonna kill each other.
Fest, You know, it's the little girl in the backpack, or not in the backpack, in the I can't think what they're called, but like the little bamboo sacks that
the baby carriers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, it's like that kind of samurai in the baby kind of storyline. It's that kind of that Western, you know, the girl's dad's about to lose her farm, and you know, she goes to look at the old Western, like this guy was once a, you know, it's that. And she just it's so beautiful the way they do this story. And it's just hip hop. It's just wrapped around hip hop. It's wrapped around all these different things.
To that point, I was going to say one thing that I think people
like
will
lo-fi
notice
hip hop.
as they, I think
Like
one thing that they'll
Jake
notice
Dilla-ish
as
hip-hop.
they watch the show is how, like, when the transitions even between one scene or one set of one part of the story to another using the scratch, the DJ scratch. That's just like a nice touch. And I mean, even the visuals that match that as it transitions, it's
hip hop letters.
What they do, I think, is
it's
they
graffiti.
really it's graffiti.
It's
exactly.
graffiti lettering.
They really utilize all the elements of hip hop throughout the course of the show, but they really also do a great job of like using the metaphors all throughout the style of the show, using the visuals to do the DJ mix, using the fighting styles, the mix of the different samurai fighting styles. Like they just really, this was very well thought out. You could tell that as they put this together, they really thought about every aspect of the visual elements of this show.
It's like they took a hip hop song and built an anime around it.
Yeah.
You know, and
it's
fits
good
in that way. It's kind of like finding all the parts of the beat. But that was the first episode. I enjoy these breakdowns because it's like reminding myself why these animes are great. And reminding myself that it wasn't just, you know, the goggles of being able to watch anime. It was, no, this was amazing. This was enticing and great and gritty and eloquently combined. Okay. And it's just an amazing kind of thing. But we'll be back next week with episode 2. If we end up watching like 2 or 3 of them, we might do a 2 or 3. Like it all depends, because these rewinds is all depending upon if we're able to contain ourselves. We had to contain ourselves with ReZero,
even though we didn't really
have
have to, but we had to.
We had to because we would have missed something.
Yeah, that's true.
Because if we would have watched those and been like, all right, well, we're back and we'll just try and compare, we would have missed a lot of the the finer details. But with this, you never know. So do your thing.
All right, as you all know, you can follow Icarus on Instagram at Icarus_Gray. You can also follow him on Twitter at Icarus Gray. You can follow me at Prima Diva on Twitter, or you can follow me at Prima Diva Red on Instagram.
All right, people. It's your boy Icarus Gray and Prima Diva. We'll see you next week. 1 and 2 and peace.